Hello friends. Well, I am Sunil Ranjan and I am an English teacher. Now here in this video I have come up with before dying or before death. Well, these two names are given elsewhere, but the poem is the same. So here I begin Before Dying by Jibananda. So first let me tell you about Jibananda. Jibananda was an Indian poet, writer, novelist and essayist in the Bengali language. He was born on 17th February 1899 in a small district town of Barisal in West Bengal. He was popularly called Rupashi Banglar Kavi, meaning poet of beautiful Bengal. He is the most read poet in Bangladesh and West Bengal, after Rabindranath Tagore and Qazi Nazrul Islam. He is acknowledged as one of the greatest poets in the Bengali language. Das wrote 21 novels and 108 short stories. His notable works include Ruposhi Bangla, Banalata Sen, Mahaprithvi and Shesht Kavita. His early poems show the influence of Qazi Nazrul Islam, but later his own influence became one of the major factors in the making of Bengali poetry. Das received Rabindra Memorial Award for Banalata Sen in 1953 at All Bengal Rabindra Literature Convention. His Shresht Kavita won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1955. His short story Sundar Jiban, produced by Satyajit Roy, won the National Film Award for Best Short Fiction Film at the 50th National Film Awards. Das died on 22nd October 1954 after being hit by a tram car. During his lifetime, Jibanand remained solely a poet who occasionally wrote literary articles. His stories are largely autobiographical, while he was deep into poetry mostly. He allowed it to be brought into his fiction. His fictional works are based more on dialogues than description. His essays carry a heavy prose style that expressed complex analytical statements. As a result, his prose was very compact, containing profound messages in a relatively short space. In his poem Before Dying or Before Death, the poet speaks of the unlimited desires that humans cherish to be fulfilled. They all see many things happening around them, but finally all such human longings come to an end when the wings of death fly them away from the face of the earth. Now coming to the poem. So first I will read out a few lines and then I will come up with the explanation. So here I begin. We who have walked deserted stubble fields on a December evening, who have seen over the field's edge a soft river woman scattering her fog flowers, they all are like some village girls of old. We who have seen in darkness the akanda tree, the dundul plant filled with fireflies, the moon standing quietly at the head of an already harvested field. She has no yearning for that harvest. Now the explanation is, the poet becomes the spokesperson for the entire mankind when he uses the word we. He says that it is we who have walked the harvested fields on a December evening, seen river women scattering flowers amidst fog close to the field's edge. All those flowers look like some village girls who have been there since long. We all as humans have seen the akanda tree of medicinal value, the dundul plant filled with fireflies, the moon looking still and silent in the sky over the already harvested field. Now coming to the text. We who have lived in the darkness of a long winter's night, who have heard wings flutter on a thatched roof in captivating night, the smell of an ancient owl now lost again in the darkness, who have understood the beauty of a winter's night wings buoyed up over, fields brimming with deep joy, herons calling from aswatha tree limbs. We who have understood all the secret magic of life. Now the explanation. The poet here speaks of the dark and long winter nights that mankind has lived through. Often birds are heard fluttering their wings on the thatched roof during some beautiful night. There shows the presence of some owl with his smell as ever, fading away slowly in the darkness. Mankind has always felt the beauty of winter nights, when fields appear so beautiful and birds like heron call from the aswatha or peepal trees. The poet says that we all have sensed the beautiful and magical things of life that have a deep impact upon us. Now, coming to the text. We who have seen wild geese escape injury from a hunter's bullet and fly away into the horizon's gentle blue moonlight. We who have placed a loving hand upon the sheaves of paddy like the evening crows. We who return home full of desire, smell of a baby's breath, grass, sunlight, a kingfisher, stars, sky. We who were aware of these as we came and went throughout the year. Now the explanation. The poet does not stop here. His poetry continues to flow passionately without taking a pause when he speaks of the wild geese that escape injury from a hunter's bullet and flies away far off in the soft moonlight. What a pleasant feel it is when we run our loving hands upon the tied up paddy. We all tend to be like evening crows returning to our homes after our day-long work filled with desires to share our happiness with others in the family. We all love to feel the smell of a baby's breath, smell the sweet and innocent breath of the baby, the freshness of the green grass, the pleasant sunlight, the beautiful kingfisher bird, stars twinkling in the sky as ever. The poet says, mankind is well aware of all such things that come and go throughout the year. Now coming to the text of the poem. Who have seen green leaves turn yellow in the November darkness, light and bulbuli birds frolicking in the windows of a cashew tree, a mouse rubbing chaff over his silk-like fur on a wintry night, waves forming in grey udders of rice and pouring down twice daily upon eyes of lonely fish, a duck in evening's darkness on the bank of a pond, catching scent of sleep, the touch of a womanly hand carries him off. Now here the explanation is, the poet further points to the green leaves that turn yellow in November as winter begins to show its arrival. The small bulbul bird plays in the cashew nuts. A mouse rubs chaff on its soft, furry skin on a winter night. Sea waves carrying the smell of rice fall upon some lonely fish. A duck moves along the bank of a pond, finding some place to rest until his owner, some woman picks him with her hands and goes away. Now coming to the text. A golden hawk calling from the window of a minaret-like cloud, beneath a wicker vine, a sparrow's eggs appearing so hard, a river ever smearing its banks with fragrance of soft water, roof thatching casting shadows in deep night upon a moonlit courtyard, smell of crickets in the green wind of April's outlying fields, thick juice oozing with heavy desire into bluish custard apples' breasts. Now, the explanation is, the poet keeps telling about the countless things that persons come across through their daily existence. A golden hawk calls while flying through the clouds that have the shape of a minaret. He looks at the sparrow's eggs under the climbing plant, fixed to thin pieces of wood twisted together. A river splashes its soft and muddy water across its banks. There are thatched roofs that cast their shadows upon the moonlit courtyard in the dark night. There is smell of crickets in the green fields in the month of April. There is sexual connotation in this stanza when the poet expresses his deep longing to be physically involved with someone and relish the pleasure of being with a female, as the phrase bluish custard apple breast suggests. So now, moving on to the text. We who have seen the red fruit fallen beneath the thick banyan, the crowds of deserted fields seeing their faces in the river, however blue the skies, yet finding one that is even bluer, who upon the paths have seen soft eyes casting their glow on the earth. Now further we go. We who have seen evening each day flow over rows of betel nut trees, the dawn appear every day simple and green like a sheaf of paddy. Now the explanation is, here the poet says that we all have seen the red fruit fallen beneath the thick banyan tree that energizes and enhances human longevity. There are deserted fields close to the rivers whose reflection could be seen. Often the blue sky appears darker. We often look at the paths that stretch to places across the earth. We humans also notice the daily setting of evening, casting its shadow over betel nut trees. As ever, morning shines every day and appears fresh and green like a sheaf of paddy. Now moving further, we who have understood after many a day, month, season gone by, that daughter of the earth who came near and the darkness spoke of, rivers. We who have understood there is another light within the fields, hearts, paths. Its afternoon greyness is in our bodies. As we let go our seeing hands, that light remains constant. Kankabati of the earth floats there and attains a body of pale incense. Now the explanation is, the poet speaks of the mathematics of time in the form of day, month and season that continue to pass. The daughter of the earth, as ever, came in the form of rivers. He further says that we all have sensed some other meaning or light. We have felt that light within the fields, gardens and paths deep in our bodies. That light always remains there. The poet is reminded of the Kankabati village with which he seems to have had close association, and he feels its smell here. Now moving on to the poem. Before death, what more do we wish to understand? Do I not know that the face of grey death awakes like a wall at the head of all prostrate, reddened desires? Once there was a dream in this world, there was gold, that attained silent peace as though by some magician's need. What more do we wish to understand? Haven't we heard the call of wings as the sun faded? Haven't we seen the crow fly off into fields of fog? Now the explanation is, in this final stanza the poet points to the limit of human wish. To him, death looks like a wall that blocks the fulfillment of unending human desires that continue to remain excited for their fulfillment. All that humans dreamed appeared like treasures of gold, and fulfillment of one's desires led to peace of human mind. It seemed as if it had resulted from some magic. The poet asks what more we all wish to understand when we all know that we are going to die one day. The poet likens the disappearance of human body to the crow that flies off over the fields covered with fog. In a similar manner, the wings of death will one day be flying us off through the fog of human existence. So here I come to the end of the poem with its explanation. And if you subscribe to my channel, I promise that I'll be coming up with fine and quality videos for you from time to time. Thank you.